Things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary, so I take my responsibility.
It seems like Adam Silver wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said, "I didn't mean to cause any harm." Were you apologizing, or did you not apologize?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
What are the specific things in the documentary that you don't believe are true and that you don't believe represent your wrongs?
I think some of the criticism of the Jewish faith in the community, for sure. Some points made in there that were unfortunate.
Kyrie, are you surprised that you did hurt people?
Surprised that I did hurt people?
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. And it was something I shared. And I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility. Then that's where I sit. So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness. I'm a light. I'm a beacon of light. That's what I'm here to do. You guys ask me questions about basketball, I give you my
Welcome to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Lex. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. I appreciate you supporting the brand. You know what I'm trying to do with this. I'm at about 27 subs right now. I'd like to get to 100, then 500, then 1,000, 2,000. You know how this goes. So I really and truly appreciate you helping me to build this brand out. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Great football weekend. I see the Jets won again. I see they decided after I ended my contract with them to decide. I think they were 6-3 now. They beat the Buffalo Bills 20-17 over the weekend. Great job by them. I think the Giants were on a bye. But another great week in football. Just another great week overall. Hope everybody does well. Hope everybody's week goes well. We know what's happening today. As I'm recording this, it is Election Day. Thank you, Jesus. Hopefully this means the end of endless flyers in my P.O. box every time I go to it. Oh my God. It has to end. I literally have a stack of flyers. It's just been unending. I'm glad that's going to be over with. I'm tired of the text messages. Even though I put myself on the do not, is there a do not text list, a do not harass me list that I can put it on? Because I'm tired. Every 5 minutes I'm getting something from the Democrat and Republican Party. I'm over it. Please leave me alone. I've had it. But thank you. I'm glad it's over with. Go out, and we've already talked about this on this show. Go out and vote for who's going to do the best for you in your particular situation. Do not fall into the trap of you've got to vote for this person or this group or that group because they're the best thing for you. We know this to be a falsehood. We know this to be not factual. Okay, well, if there's the Dems or the Repubs, they don't care about you. They care about you getting out to vote and helping them keep their highfalutin jobs and continue to have those donations coming in to fund their lifestyles. There is no reason under any circumstances that people should be going out to vote unless they are getting something for it. I've told you before, and I know people say all the time, well, people fought for you for the right to have to vote and blah, blah, blah. Let's stop that foolishness right now. Nobody cares. Okay? Those days are over with. If there's plenty of people out here who want to sit out of these elections because they're not getting anything for their vote. It is a transaction once again. It is not emotional, it is transactional. And so if there are people out there who don't feel like they're getting anything for either their vote or getting for their situation, for their people, or whatever the case might be, they should sit out. There's no reason under any circumstances. Now, fortunately, I went this morning and it was relatively not busy, but if you live in a major city somewhere, they're polling places where people are waiting a couple hours, which is ridiculous. We saw what happened the last time, in particular, black people. What y'all did was stand outside for 2 hours to vote for Sleepy Joe. And we see how that ended up for y'all. So please, if you're going to go out to the polls, go out with a mission. Go out with a purpose. Don't go out and just vote because, your mommy and your grandma and your grandpa and all those other people voted a certain way. It doesn't matter. They're not living your life right now. Even if they're still here. Vote for your particular situation. Vote for what's best for you and yours. If that's not the case, don't even go out. Don't waste your time. You got things to do. And the argument of, well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. The hell you can't. You pay taxes, don't you? That's what matters at the end of the day. That is what matters at the end of the day, that you are sitting there and you pay taxes. So this idea that you can't complain is invalid. People need to stop with the nonsense. Until, in this case, black people, I'll say, get what it is that they want, whether it's 40 acres and a mule, whether it's reparations, or whatever it is that you're looking for. Until you get that, until it is written and signed for, and you're getting either a monthly check, like the Holocaust survivors, let's not forget that, I talked about that, Holocaust survivors get a monthly check. I don't remember the Holocaust happening in the United States. I mean, I'm not a historian, but I know a few things here and there. I knew a few mainstream things. And last I checked, that happened in Europe. Why aren't they getting reparations over there? But Barack Obama gave reparations to Holocaust survivors here. Where's your reparations? Huh. We need to stop this, man. Stop this foolishness. Always trying to placate to people's emotions. It's stupid. All right. I've got a clip here that I want to play for you, and then we're going to comment on it. This is former two-term president, I said Donald Trump, Barack Obama, out in Michigan, of course, getting people out to vote for Democrats, yada, 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 the same spiel. I want you guys to listen to this, and then we'll come back and talk.
Vote. Encourage others to do the same and maybe even help them.
You've got to help your friends and your family to make a plan to vote. Because I'm assuming if you are here, you are likely to vote. But Cousin Pookie, I like Pookie, but sometimes he forgets stuff. So you got to get.
Wow. Is this the man whom a lot of y'all hold in high regard? Look, I get it. He was the first guy, or first person, I should say, who looks similar to you, who had a chance at winning the White House. I think back in the day, Jesse Jackson had a little bit of a run. Then he showed his dislike of a certain group of people in the city, and it basically fell apart. So I get it. He was a safe pick. But come on, ladies and gentlemen. Do you not see through the nonsense? I'm not even being facetious here. I'm being serious here. I know I'm laughing a little bit just because I think it's so corny, but I'm being serious here. Why do y'all hold him in high regard? Why does he still, despite the human rights violations he's committed, the atrocities, does he still get held in high regard? And they keep pulling out the same nonsense. Cousin Ray Ray? Really? You're a former 2-term president. And you see all the black people in there, ha ha, we love Ray Ray. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I don't get it. And I've said it before. They pull these people out. They get them to go to different events and things along those lines. I think at some point there was somebody heckling him in the crowd. I don't like stuff like that. Like, let the man speak. If you want to say something in response, say it. I think there should be some level of decorum. I think we should all be able to disagree in a respectful manner. But once again, do not sit here and have these people play with your heartstrings and you get nothing in return. Most of you in your life will never meet Barack Obama. You will never breathe the same air as him because most of you are not going to have the ability to go to Martha's Vineyard. It's super expensive. It's super exclusive. And please tell me what he did for you as the president, other than be a symbol. And I've said this before. This ain't the bat signal. This isn't the symbol of S for Krypton that means hope. What did he do that was tangible? What did he do that you can touch, feel, or see, other than his skin color, that makes him such an important political figure? I already know the answer to this, but I'm asking y'all. Stop believing in hype. Stop believing in solely marketing. This is not a Super Bowl ad. This is your lives. This is your lives. This is a bunch of people who are going to make decisions for you. You need to be in those rooms. Okay, I'll give you an example. I moonlight as a bartender from time to time. This weekend was a little busy at the restaurant that I worked at. I met a gentleman. I'm not going to say his name, obviously, but I met a gentleman who is a big Republican. No problem. That's great. Awesome. You know where he's going to be tonight to watch all the election results and all that other jazz? Cipriani's in New York City. I've heard of the restaurant. I've been to it. It's a high-end restaurant, quote unquote. You know, a lot of hype probably. But you know how much it costs for a person who's not with the Republican National Committee, or whatever the case might be? You want to take a wild guess? I'll give you the answer. $1,000 a person. $1,000 to get into Cipriani's tonight. It's shut down the whole night. $1,000 if you want to get in there. Seems like a waste of money to me, but okay, I get it. And that's just the Republican one. I don't even know about the Democratic ones in and around New York or the tri-state. That's just one of them. You think these people give a damn about you? What is important is how they can help you. And if they can't, Democrat, Republican, whatever the case might be, then they can go straight to hell. This is business. That's all this is about at the end of the day. I've got another clip here for you that I want to play. It's a little bit of a long clip. It's about a 3+ minute clip. But this clip right here, I was talking about the Republicans before and what, at least the one Republican that I knew or I've come across, what he's doing tonight at Cipriani's. What they're doing, I should say, not just him. I'm going to play another clip for you on the Democratic side. We know that Stacey Abrams is running for the governorship of Georgia against Brian Kemp. She's down right now. She has been pandering to, in particular, black men for a while now. You need to come out. You need to vote, blah, 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 for me, blah, 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 even though you don't do anything for me. I'm going to show you just how much BS is going on out here, and just to show you that they don't care about you. And then I'm going to come back and we'll talk about it. Just give me 1 second here. All right.
Security that she has lined out. And I'm sure you're wondering and thinking to yourself, why do
Oh, I'm sorry. Play that again.
Lined out. And I'm sure you're wondering and thinking to yourself, why do you have all these points highlighted? Well, I'll show you. But before I show you, I want to preface it by saying this. What you're going to see right now is exactly why I despise the Democratic Party as much as I do. I'm not suffering from any type of illusion that Republicans are just vastly better than Democrats, right? The Republican Party, that you vote Republican and, the black community is just going to thrive now. That's not what I'm saying. But I despise the Democratic Party because this is the party that pretends to be Black America's friend when they're not. These people are deceivers and they're backstabbers. And you're going to see this right now. And this is why I have so many points highlighted. So as you can see here in the economic security section, right? Provide capital and contract opportunities for Black small businesses. And you see establish a $10 million small business investment fund, eliminate fees and red tape to start your own business, increase purchasing for Black-owned businesses by state entities, allow multiple small companies to jointly bid on state contract as prime contractors, close the gap between minority and non-minority businesses. Revenues in 6 to 8 years at current pace will take 100 years. And then you see tax rebates for everyone making less than $250,000. Now, it's easy for me to just say, none of this stuff is specific to Black folks, but you have to see it for yourself, right? You have to see it for yourself. And what Stacey Abrams is doing here, she's literally copy pasting the same policy points under every demographic who she's supposedly targeting and that she's doing something for. So now we're going to come over here to small businesses, right? Small businesses, this is not about race. It's not about closing any type of racial wealth gap. This is just small businesses. And when you scroll down here, you see she has all the same stuff copy paste over here that she does for Black men. Establish a $10 million small business investment fund, establish a $10 million small business investment fund, right? Eliminate fees and red tape to start your own business, eliminate fees and red tape to start your own business, right? It's literally the same thing. Allow multiple small companies to jointly bid on state contracts as prime contractors. I believe that same thing is over here. Yeah, allow multiple small companies to jointly bid on state contracts as prime contractor, right? Now, that's Black men and small businesses. Middle class has nothing to do with race or anything like that. It's just the people of Georgia, right? It's the middle class Georgians. Well, it's literally the same exact stuff that she's copy and pasting everywhere. Establish $10 million small business investment, eliminate fees and red tape to start your own business, close the gap between minority and non-minority businesses, so on and so forth.
Oh my gosh. I saw this yesterday. Special acknowledgement to TD Hip Hop Media. But this is where I got this clip from. It's a longer clip. It's about 17 minutes. I got the part that I wanted to put in here. I have never... Now, I don't generally go onto people's sites. I get some basic things. I'm not the political person, even though I talk about a lot in this show that a lot of other people are who follow it daily. This is about the laziest thing I think I've ever seen politically in my entire life. Like, it's literally verbatim on everybody's thing. I've never witnessed such stupidity in my life. Like you couldn't change the verbiage. I mean, yes, people could figure it out. People who know language and things like that can figure it out. But you couldn't change the verbiage just a little bit. You just literally copy and pasted the same shit that you put on for Black men, for minority businesses, like over and over again, the same exact thing. And you wonder why you're down in the polls. And you're sitting here trying to placate to, I'm talking about Stacey Abrams here, people's emotions. And you wonder why it is that people are sitting elections out now. Why the power of Barack Obama and Joe Biden and all these other people, why why these people are what it looks like is they're going, unless they steal elections, why it looks like they're going to lose big. And you have people out here still capping for this woman? And that's just one example that I gave you. Or I should say, TD Hip Hop Media did it. Acknowledged them. And you expect things to change. Why, as a people, do you continuously and repeatedly shoot yourselves in the foot? You should do your own research. You don't have to believe the word come out of my mouth. Go to her website or anybody else's website. They are not here for you. They are here for their donors. They just have to deal with you because you're the mass public. So they inundate you with endless goddamn flyers and commercials. And they expect you to go out and vote because it's about emotions for them. Episode 2, emotions. They placate on your emotions. They can't give you anything substantial. I don't rock with the Republicans either, like this, I forget the gentleman's name. But I'm not delusional to think that the Democrats are any better. Election day, you do what's best for you in your situation. If a candidate doesn't represent what you're for, F them. You don't have to go to the polls. You still got to pay taxes. If you are a black conservative, vote for what you believe in and vote for what is best for you in your situation. If you are a white Democrat and they're giving you advantages and things along those lines, vote for who you need to vote for. But don't let emotions be the reason that you make certain decisions. It has to be factual. It has to be on an Excel spreadsheet. This is business 101. These politicians' mission statement is to make as much money as they possibly can. They insider trade. They do the whole thing. You should be in there with them. Oh, they don't want to do this. They don't want to do A, B, or C for you. Cool. We're going to go that way. I don't care for either goddamn party. I'm an independent. They should have to earn your vote. They should be bending over backwards to get your vote. Not just, well, you're black, I'm a Democrat, you should vote for me. Fuck that. They would sell their families down the river for a goddamn donation. They're not worth anything. All the info is out there. I've seen Stacey Abrams and a bunch of other ones running around scared to death. Why? Because some people are out of the matrix. They're worried about self. And since you're supposed to be a public servant and you're sitting there making hundreds of thousands of dollars and Cadillac insurance and health insurance and all that other stuff, you should be working for the people. But you're not. You're working for donors. So you know what? We're going to go elsewhere. Oh, we're just not going to show up. We've seen how this whole Sleepy Joe thing has worked out. He was supposed to be changed and all that other stuff. Or it was supposed to end racism. And a lot of people were fooled into believing that. It is time you let these politicians know what you really think of them. And unless you are getting something, look, if they come to you and they say, we'll pay you $1 million to get the vote out, I personally would not be comfortable with doing something like that, but at least you're getting $1 million. I can't be mad at that. It's a business move. But you have to stop with the emotional aspect of politics. These people wouldn't help you change a tire on the side of the road if they saw you. It's time you let them know who you really are. It's time for you to take control back of your country. It's time for to stop all the woke stuff and all the emotions and blah, blah, blah. Which brings me to another subject. We all know Kyrie Irving playing for the Brooklyn Nets. Phenomenal basketball player. Recently got into some trouble, unnecessary trouble in my humble estimation, but trouble nevertheless. Because he, on his, I don't remember if it was Instagram or Facebook, he posted a screenshot of, it's a movie called Hebrew Hebrews to Negroes or something like that. I've never seen the film, so I can't make a judgment on the film. I've heard different sides of the argument. He refused to apologize, nor did he have to apologize for posting this thing or for promoting anti-Semitism or whatever the case might be. He was the same guy who posted about something about Alex Jones several times back. People are like, oh, Jesus, Alex Jones was crazy, blah, blah, blah. Nevertheless, the Brooklyn Nets wrongfully suspended him. And you got a bunch of people, a bunch of talking heads, including Shaquille O'Neal, Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, and others attacking him and saying that he's promoting anti-Semitism. We have to stop this false narrative. Respect to all those guys. They make a lot more money than I do. The same way that they attack Kanye West for speaking the truth. And they tried to cancel him. And Chase, I guess, said to take his money elsewhere. You see, this is where the problem lies. First off, you have rights in this country. You have the right to religion. You have the right to freedom of expression. I know Shannon Sharp was in there too. Talking reckless. What do they all have in common? They work for the networks. Their wealth is directly tied to working for these networks. So I can understand. They have a script to follow. They all seem to follow the same script. At least in this case, some of them, change the verbiage. But they all have a script to follow. But Kanye West came out several weeks back and talked about different things related to a particular group. We know who they are. And everything he said was right. And they proved it to be right. Kyrie Irving didn't even say anything. He just posted about the movie that he was watching. And they said that's promoting anti-Semitism. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You want to know why? You know what it's the equivalent of? It's the equivalent of you going onto your social media and posting about you watching, I guess there's a Jeffrey Dahmer movie on Netflix. Or saying that I'm watching a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary. All you do is post it. Oh, I watched a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary or the movie on Netflix. Does that mean that you promote killing gay blacks or cannibalism for that matter? Does it? Is that what it means? It means that you're promoting the cannibalism or killing gay people who happen to be of color? Or does it mean I'm watching it for educational purposes? If you dress up as a witch for Halloween, does that mean that you practice witchcraft? Huh? One Halloween, I dressed up as Kylo Ren from Star Wars. I didn't even know who Kylo Ren was. Does that mean that I'm into the Star Wars mythology? Or did I just think the mask was cool? Excuse me. This fallacy. And that's what it is, a fallacy. That somehow Kyrie Irving is promoting anti-Semitism is beyond ridiculous. Did he say he was against the Jewish people? I know LeBron James came out and said he said some hurtful things. I think Shaq called him an idiot or something along those lines. Then, at least I read it. I don't know how true it is or it isn't. Please educate me if I'm wrong. Supposedly, one of Shaquille O'Neal's movie theaters had the film there like 3 years earlier. Does that mean that TNT should go and suspend Shaquille O'Neal for having a theater and monetizing it? Should he have to go to sensitivity training? You should see the BS list that the Brooklyn Nets have put out saying this is what you need to do in order to get reinstated. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm just going to give you a few ones. He has to apologize to the Jewish community. I think he had to meet with the, if memory serves me correctly, the Anti-Defamation League. The joke that is. He had to take sensitivity training. Are you kidding me right now with this? This is the fact that it took, I know the NBA Players Association is finally getting involved in appealing the suspension. It shouldn't have taken this long. Quite frankly, I would like to see Kyrie Irving sue the NBA and the Brooklyn Nets and the ownership specifically. But that would basically be the end of his NBA career. He's still got a lot of gas left in the tank, and I wouldn't want that to enter him, so he can make as much money as possible. But let's stop with this foolishness. I've seen so many people come out and say, this is anti-Semitism, it's this, it's that. There's no truth in the matter. Kyrie Irving was trying to educate himself, and he came out in an interview and said, I didn't agree with the part where they talked about the Holocaust not happening. I haven't seen the film. I'm just going based upon his words. It's like a 3.5 hour documentary. I don't got time for all that. This is pure and unadulterated craziness. This is a social credit score. This is you essentially not speaking out of turn. They are trying to control your words. They're trying to control your behavior. He talked about they constantly bring up the whole thing about Alex Jones. He talked about something related to like secret societies, which we all know is true. And I said, is this the same guy who talked about Sandy Hook? Okay, well, he wasn't talking about Sandy Hook. He didn't post about Sandy Hook. He posted about something else. But because people are so ridiculously sensitive or so in their emotions, as I've talked about before, and I said it on this show, just because Alex Jones was wrong about the whole Sandy Hook thing doesn't mean he was wrong about other things. He's put out a lot of information that has been pertinent and has been true. So now he gets discredited for everything because he got the whole Sandy Hook thing wrong? And he's going through his BS trial with the Sandy Hook family, and a judge talking about he's got to pay $1 billion. Bernie Madoff didn't pay $1 billion to anybody. And he ran a Ponzi scheme. And people actually killed him. I know one French aristocrat or something like that lost $600 million and killed himself. Did Bernie Madoff have to pay the family back? You see, we can't continue this nonsense. Kyrie, this is clearly a distraction. And this is clearly, at least from some of the things that I've seen, and it makes sense to me, because Kyrie Irving decided to go against the narrative and didn't want to get the COVID shot. That's what this ultimately comes down to. So this is their way of getting back at him. Because Kyrie Irving decided to think for himself and not be fooled into believing in some experimental drug that we've seen does not stop the transmission. There are plenty of people who've gotten it multiple times, even after getting all the boosters. The only people who won in this situation were the pharmaceuticals. And they're still out here pushing that narrative. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you having an idea that's outside of the bubble they're trying to create. And anybody who does is called crazy. It's called anti-Semitic. It's called a whole bunch of other things and demonized. We've seen what happened to Kanye West. Nothing that Kanye West said was false. But somehow, even though he has not committed a crime, a bank is allowed to say, we don't want to do business with you anymore. You can be taken off of social media like an Andrew Tate or somebody along those lines. You can be demonized. How is this legal? But we have to follow all these stupid rules. You didn't take a COVID shot, so you can't go into a restaurant. Okay, let's legalize discrimination now. It's legal now. No more privacy as it pertains to your medical history. Let's just break a bunch of rules because the pharmaceutical companies are sitting here and able to charge the government 3, 4, 5 times what the drug's actually worth. And then I read it, I forget, I don't know if it was the New York Post or something like that. I forget exactly where I read it. But now a COVID shot's going to go up to $130 once the contract's up. $130. And by the way, your tax dollars paid to get this thing manufactured. Yeah. And despite the fact that it didn't work, or it didn't do what it was supposed to do, nobody's gone to prison. Should Anthony Fauci not be behind bars given that we know that it was built in a lab out in China illegally, and that they let it loose on when they were doing a protest in Hong Kong. I mean, thankfully we live here where we have some rights. Over there, I've seen videos on IG where they will lock down like the equivalent of like a Costco, and if you get caught in the Costco, you'll have to be in there for 48 hours. You can't get onto a train. I know somebody who lives in Ecuador who has a son who was forced to get the shot because she couldn't go to the grocery store otherwise. How is this legal? How is this possible? Nobody's gone to jail. And we know this information's out here. We know that politicians have made money on it. And then you want the average everyday person to sit there and follow all your stupid rules. And we're supposed to sit here and be okay with everything that's going on. What happened to Kyrie Irving is just another example of what's wrong in the world. But the one thing I will say, I'm glad that more and more people are coming out and are finally saying enough is enough. We're allowing in-your-face discrimination to happen, in particular by people of color. There are people who don't talk to family members anymore. Family members. Masks became a political statement. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Joe Rogan. MAGA hats were for Republicans and masks were for Democrats. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Kyrie Irving's being discriminated against, and some of y'all are okay with it. I didn't hear Adam Silver say anything to the owner of the Nets as it pertains to Alibaba. Give me 1 second. Alibaba, the company I believe he's co-owner of or something like that. I'm gonna go find the clip for you. I want to read it for you. I don't remember if I read it for you previously, but I'm gonna look the clip up right now. Where the company Alibaba was funding the genocide. I'm gonna look it up right now for you. I believe it was out of the New York Post. I want to be accurate on this. Give me 1 second. This was from April 14th. Let's see if it comes up. Joe Tsai, Alibaba Finance supported China's cultural genocide of UYGHOR, I don't know how to pronounce that, Muslims. This dates back. Alibaba, a company co-founded by Joe Tsai, an adamant advocate of the communist regime and the owner of the Nets and Nibley financially supported the Chinese government human rights violations and cultural genocide of its Muslim population, according to a report from ESPN. ESPN, actually, that's interesting. Tasha's Alibaba, effectively Amazon in Asia, funded technology used by the Chinese to track its citizens, which was used widely in the region where millions of the UYGHOR Muslims and other ethnic minorities were forced into barbed wire camps for re-education, the report says. I have a question for Adam Silver of the NBA. Did you do this? Did you look into this before you let that man go and buy a team? Or did you overlook it because you do direct business with China? I'm curious. Alibaba, where Tsai served as an executive vice chairman, invested heavily in the two government-backed artificial intelligence companies, Megvii and SenseTime, which developed facial recognition software used for population surveillance and is at the core of China's controlling of the Uyghur Muslims, according to ESPN. I like the commissioner of the NBA to talk about this. Did Joseph Tsai have to apologize for backing this? I'm wondering. Now, I've read this article before, but I'm really reading in depth for the first time. I'd like to know, did this man have to apologize? The same man who's telling Kyrie to do sensitivity training and all that other stuff? Huh? Did he have to apologize for funding something like this? One's curious. This is amazing. I'm shocked at the level of my blood's boiling right now. But anyway, Kyrie Irving did nothing wrong in this situation. I know I was going off a little bit. I was getting emotional. I'm reeling it back. I'd like to know from Adam Silver, who I don't have any evidence of it, who I think was involved in a suspension because people wanted Kyrie to apologize to Adam Silver. He basically told him to go, themselves. Is Adam Silver going to apologize to Kyrie? Is Adam Silver going to make Joseph Tsai apologize to those Muslims in China and other ethnic minorities whose rights they violated? I didn't hear from you then, Mr. Silver. This is disgraceful. I can't believe. Oh man, I'm so mad right now. You all know how I feel about things like that, and it's gotten to be more and more transparent. It's time for people to step up and say what the facts are. This is disgraceful. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. You know where to find it. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. You know where to find it. Take care.
Encourage others to do the same and maybe even help them.
You've got to help your friends and your family to make a plan to vote. Because I'm assuming if you are here, you are likely to vote. But Cousin Pookie, I like Pookie. But sometimes he forgets stuff. So you got to get